Hi,
Yeah. Hi.
Jason.
Hi.
It's so nice to see you again, and congratulations on the success of McDonald and Dodds.
Yeah. Thanks very much. Yeah. No, it's doing very well. Yeah, we're very pleased that it's sort of connected with so many people and all over the world. So yeah, it's exciting. Yeah.
Well, I was so glad to see more episodes, and not only are they incredibly entertaining, but I got a chance to see what you're talking about last time when you were saying how beautiful Bath is. You can see that in every episode, but also there's one episode that has a shot where the camera kind of flies across the city and you see all the beautiful old buildings and the green space in the distance. It looks absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful spots in the UK. It's a Georgian city. I mean, completely intact with all its crescents and circles and thoroughfares, main roads, back streets, sandstone, and it's surrounded by some of the most beautiful countryside in the UK as well. So it's a pretty ideal place to shoot a typically English piece. So yeah, we're delighted that Bath has come up trumps and given us a really good performance. Yeah.
I know you're an avid cyclist. Did you bring your bicycle to Bath, and did you get any downtime to go for any rides?
I didn't get much downtime. It's a shame because this and this that Alex, I must not talk too much about cycling, as I'll get into trouble, because me and Tala have this code, which I don't know if I mentioned last time we spoke, but if I'm cracking on to one of the poor fellow guests who's and talk about cycling, she sort of does that, scratches her nose, which tells me that I should maybe talk less about cycling. But you've asked me, so that's good, and she's not here. So yeah, it's a beautiful place to cycle. And I do take my bike, and I pop out because we actually stay in Bristol, which is a neighbouring city, very close. It's within half an hour's drive. We film some of the police station and stuff like that. The interior is in Bristol, which again is a beautiful city. So I have a turbo trainer there, so I can do sort of online sort of racing as well. I do races online. Again, see, this is a caveat: it's not to talk too much about it, but I do get out into the countryside as well. Yeah, a couple of times, but and it's beautiful. Yeah, beautiful place to cycle.
Well, I love cycling, and I love to hear all about cycling, so I won't be
going
into that.
Oh, good. So where do you cycle? Do you cycle where you are then?
Oh, a lot of different places. There's Niagara on the lake, Niagara Falls. There's a lovely path from Cambridge to Paris in Ontario. So yeah, a lot of different trails. They've made a lot of the old train tracks into bike paths now. So you go through forest, and it's just gorgeous.
Well, they do that from Bristol to Bath. They've done exactly the same thing. There's a converted train track. Yeah. Oh, it sounds. I'll have to get out there. I think I follow somebody on Strava from Canada, and it's sort of we keep tabs on each other, and so yeah, maybe I'll get out there.
For sure. And I have to get out to Bath and check out the bike paths.
Oh, you must come. You just got to say to someone, "Look, I've got to go. I've got to go and cover McDonald Dodds."
Exactly. A lot of the scenes take place outdoors. I was wondering, does a crowd ever gather and start to watch, and is that distracting, or is it nice to have an audience?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, both, all of those things. I mean, yes, yeah, it's a bustling, hugely popular city with tourists, and we film in the summer we try to. I mean, we filmed actually sort of late summer because of COVID into up to Christmas, and I think we're going to film in summer and through into the autumn, and the leaves turning, and that has its own beauty as well. Yeah, we get a lot of attention. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of. It's a smallish city, and so if a film crew is there, then if you want to find us, you'll find us. But yeah, it's not a distraction. It's it's just a gentle sort of. Do you mind just not being in my eye line? I'm not a shouter at people in my eye line, which is there's a lot of that about at the moment. But it's nice that people love the show, and it's nice that we have the attention that it gets.
The characters changed a bit this season. It seems like Dodds is a little bit more appreciated. What did you like best about how the characters their relationships are growing this season?
Yeah, that's such a good question, because yeah, it's nice to hear, because one doesn't always know what what you're sort of pitching, and where the writing is leading you, but you don't necessarily know the effect that it's having. So it's nice to hear that, that he is appreciated. I think he's had some success. I think that at the bottom line is, the Jim Murray's character, our superintendent. I mean, he has realised that Dodds is a bit of a secret weapon, that he does work, and the duo is working together, and they're getting results. So even though he is against his better judgment, and part of him hates it, and he's not a huge fan of Dodds, or of Tala, or of McDonald, he sort of suffers their success, and maybe Dodds has a bit of confidence, particularly towards the end of episodes where he's honing in, and they're both honing in on the crime and who's done it. And there's this great chemistry, the comic chemistry, which has developed, talking about the difference of the first series, that's grown. And we tried as performers to protect that and make sure that we're able to do that, not protect it, but have the space to have that sort of comic territory to explore that. But I think as a duo, as we begin to solve crimes, we both appreciate each other and what, like a good marriage and a good relationship, what each of them is best at, and not talk about the stuff that they're not good at. Just maybe what happens in my relationship. I just, there are things that I'm no good at, and we just don't dwell on it. But I mean, I think, and it's nice to see that it is like a marriage. It's nice to see that evolve. Dodds is a little bit stuck in his ways, a little bit, but is also very, very open to change and has a warm heart. I think that's what I like about it, and what one's lucky in a kind of second series, that one's able to explore more of the depth of the characters set against another fascinating episode, a crime.
Dodds also gets involved in more action, especially in the first episode. What was that like, and what did you like best overall about the second season?
Well, there was a bit of action, wasn't there? Yes, that was fun. I mean, there wasn't much acting involved going up in the balloon. I mean, that was pretty terrifying. It was done cleverly. I didn't actually go up and set free into the heavens on a balloon, but I mean, it was pretty hairy. So that was fun. And I mean, I suppose across the 3 episodes, I really enjoying working with Tala, and really enjoying the relationship and the possibilities that the relationship is beginning to deliver, and the prospect of where it can go after that. I mean, it's a nice place to be when you feel as though you've got a show where it's effortlessly wanting to expand. And the writers now writing for us as performers and as characters, and you can see that. I like the way that Dodds is. I've always liked him playing with the misconceptions that people have of him, and his awareness of that, and yet he's also his manipulation of their perception of him. Just that they write him off as a bit of a dimwit, and I'm not in trouble here because he's in charge with, I've just got to sort out the McDonald one. If I can just, work her out, then, he's a pushover. And it's like, I like that kind of, the two of them together, hand each part in the denouement, they hand their respective parts of the solving of the case, the revelation of the case to each other, and they share in that. There's a sort of really, the drama turns and gets more intense, and the two of them want to solve the crime, and they want to respect the person who's died. I mean, the crimes are nearly always murder, so they want. It's not about justice. I think it's about care of the person that's died. And I think there's Dodds is old school in that respect, I think, and he's has very strong moral values. As though, I'm not saying he's a kind of moralist, but he has a good sense of right and wrong, and he likes to see it put right.
one of the funny bits is that Dodds likes chips in butter. What is that exactly? Is that like French fries dipped in butter?
Have you never had that, Alex?
No.
You've never had? I wouldn't rush to try it. I wouldn't ask a restaurant to knock one up. Your nearest and dearest to cook it for you necessarily. I mean, it is an old tradition in British culinary expertise. Chips and butter sort of, we'll fry anything, won't we? We'll fry sausages and potatoes, obviously, and even chocolates, Mars bars. It's a great tradition of frying a Mars bar, particularly in Scotland. But so chips and butter is in the tradition of that. And of course, you know, we've almost fried it in butter and then it's sort of extra butter. And it becomes the theme, of course, of the second episode of this. That Dodds needs to maybe look after himself a bit better. All it is that you get your chips and fries and you dip them into the butter. So you get a double hit of the fried, whatever it is, the chip, and the butter itself. And it is great for about 2 mouthfuls, and then you regret it. When we're doing those scenes and you're doing it many times, you've got to just make sure that you're only having a couple of during the scene. Otherwise, you're just, you know, you're expanding during the scene. You know, it's a difficult place to be.
And finally, what would you like to see have happen with Dodds in season 3?
I'd like, maybe, you know, like all these shows, you want to see the characters pushed. And so it would be nice to see that he's been subjected to danger a little bit in this series. Well, maybe that can be expanded upon, you know. And maybe there's somebody super clever. I mean, we have got that in this series. Rob Brydon's character, and he was spoiled again by this amazing cast, and Sharon Rooney in the second, Sarah Parish, and is magnificent in the third. Amongst a host of other brilliant actors, Rupert Graves, Kathy Tyson, I mean, Patsy Kensit, you know, we're completely spoiled. So a nemesis character might be interesting. You know, that might be interesting for Dodds. But I'd like to see him form a relationship outside of work, maybe, or we should hear more about something that's happened with him, because he's had a kind of Indian summer in his career, and I think he wants to. Part of him wants his life to have that Indian summer as well, and he can't quite do it. He's got quite emotionally strong enough, and he's been hurt in the past, and he's not quite able to do it. And that's a wonderful thing between him and Tala, that they're looking, him and McDonald, that they're looking out for each other. So if that can happen, that would be nice.
It was great to talk to you again, Jason, and congratulations on the success of the show. Cannot wait to see season 3.
Great. Well, we're filming it in the summer, and hopefully we'll talk to you again very soon.
Absolutely. Thank you again.
Cheers, Alex.